Hey peeps, today we're not checking out Hammy nor John Morris. You know what? I don't know who we're checking out. But you might want to put your face palm gear on. Oh, yeah, and get your snacks, because you're going to need your face palm gear and your snacks. Because today, just like every other day of our fucking lives, young Earth creationists are gonna try to teach us something they know nothing about: our origins. So, yep, you need your facepalm gear and your snacks. Unfortunately, since I don't know who we're dealing with here, I'm just going to say stupidity. Okay, so, stupidity, take it away.
In the beginning, there was nothing. A vacuum, void, empty space. And in this empty space there emerged a primordial fireball. Billions of years ago, this fireball exploded. This explosion generated all space, energy, matter. The universe expanded rapidly, producing electrons, neutrinos, photons, and quarks.
Starting off strong with the straw man, I see. The Big Bang did not start with nothingness, and then there was a big, bright, shiny thing that just popped into existence somehow and exploded. Come on! How many times do we have to tell you? I absolutely hate when creationists project their wrongness onto us, because you people are the ones who believe that everything came from nothing, and you also believe that for some reason your God is exempt from having to come from something. There's a name for that, and it's called special pleading. You cannot say that everything has to come from something, but special plead your way out of having to explain where your God came from. The singularity has infinite density. What part of infinite density is synonymous with nothing? In addition, the singularity is the concept in which all physical laws of our universe break down, and we don't know what came before it. Also, if you think it was an explosion, you have a lot of re-educating to do for yourself, because it wasn't an explosion. It was an expansion of the universe. Those are two different things, dumbass. I don't know your definition of rapid, but according to my knowledge, which admittedly is limited, it took thousands of years before the speed of light could even escape the gravity of the singularity. And viewers, cosmology is not my thing, so I may be wrong on it. Please, if somebody knows and is viewing this and knows that I'm wrong, please correct me. I'm open to correction all the time.
And neutrons. Matter continued colliding and interacting. Over time, the first simple elements formed. These elements also collided as the primordial soup continued to expand. Cosmic and particulate evolution continued, and stars began to group, forming into the earliest galaxies. And then, just 5 billion years ago, something wondrous occurred. Within a cloud of gas in a spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, our sun formed. This new star gave birth to...
I wish you would get something right once in a while. According to Cosmic Microwave Background, the universe was not cool enough for matter to coalesce until 380,000 years after the Big Bang, and stars and galaxies could not form until 200 million years after the Big Bang. Do some reading! If you want to be scientifically correct, evolution is not the correct word for that. The correct word is the Big Bang, galaxy formation, star formation, and planet formation. My goodness, can't you even stop to read a book for once in your fucking life? It wasn't 5 billion years ago, you twat. It was 4.6 billion years ago. But hey, 400 million years doesn't mean anything. It's just loads and time upon how old young earthers think the universe is, right? And it formed from the solar nebula. And here's a fun fact, thrown in free of charge. Our sun makes up 99.8% of all the matter in our solar system. The rest of the 0.2 is divided by all the planets and the dust and stuff. And of course, our sun, the soul of our existence, will run out of energy at some time in the future to become a white dwarf. Not in our lifetime, but it will.
This new star gave birth to planets, moons, and asteroids. One of these planets, known as Earth, developed an atmosphere. Earth's environment, believed to be filled with volcanic eruptions, lightning, turbulent weather, mixed atoms and energy to create the first simple living cells. Then, through millions of years of mutations and natural selection, algae, jellyfish, and flatworms appeared. As evolution continued, fish appeared in the seas on planet Earth. Some of these fish developed into amphibians, and through natural selection changed into reptiles.
Okay, I don't know when this was made since this is on a mirror site, but I do know that the um, latest studies that we have from Nature in 2022 says that the early atmosphere is more like our atmosphere today and less like the Oprah Haldane atmosphere in the 1950s. So, creationists, number one, just because things are the way they are right now does not mean they were always the way they are. Number two, stop with the Oprah Haldane experiment because it's kaput, okay? It was necessary but kaput. Scientists at Rensselaer, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, forgive me if I'm not, now have findings that support the hypothesis that the early Earth atmosphere consisted of water, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and perhaps a few other compounds. How many times do we have to tell you people that cells were not the first quote unquote living things on the earth? Now, granted, it can be in a gray area as to whether RNA, DNA, and viruses can be called life. However, they do replicate, and that's part of being alive, is replicating. So you may disagree with me, but for this discussion, I'm saying they're alive. And now just about every biologist who watches my show is gonna come after me because I say RNA and DNA is alive. However, I'm only saying that because they replicate, okay? That is what I define life right now, at the beginning of Earth. And yes, I know that life did not begin when the planet formed, but, you know, um, I'm just for sake of argument, go with me, okay? This is kind of complicated stuff. This guy's gish-galloping all over the place, and I do want enough time to get everything in. So, you know, folks, don't blame me, blame his gish-gallop. However, I do plan on making a dedicated video to abiogenesis and yada yada yada. I'm not even touching that jellyfish and flatworm part, but yes, as time went on over millions of years, life got more complex. At least that is true. Thank you for saying something true for once. Although some Ediacaran biota may have had notochords, fish were the first real vertebrates and came onto the scene during the Cambrian and greatly diversified during the Devonian period. This means that there were far more creatures before them, and it was not just from cells directly to fish like you make it seem to be. The first appearance of amphibians was a major evolutionary event. Imagine the seas were teeming with life, a lot of things that were bigger and would gobble you up in a moment, whereas the land was starting to um, grow things so that you could eat it, and it had a lot less competition too. Very attractive. Amphibians evolved during the Devonian period, and although their evolution is more speculative, there is much evidence to suggest that they evolved from a specific type of fish called Osteichthyes, or bony type fish. FYI, amphibians are called tetrapods because they have 4 legs. The nail in the coffin was secured when, in 2006, in Arctic Canada, researchers found in Devonian rock a transitional fossil called Tiktaalik. I should specify that Tiktaalik is a transition from fish to tetrapod. Now, it was great being an amphibian in the Devonian when you had lots of water, and because amphibians need water in order for their eggs to hatch. Well, this started changing in the Permian when Gondwana, Laurentia, and other land masses collided to make the supercontinent Pangaea. With Pangaea came a dearth of water, at least a dearth of water as compared to before. So changes needed to be made if the amphibians were to survive. And the first evolutionary change was to the egg to change from a non-amniotic egg to a amniotic egg with a shell. While the amniotic egg was taking shape, other changes were occurring as well, such as changes to skull structure and the epidermis. This gave rise to a new type of vertebrate called reptiles. Now I can hear somebody say, "But Lisa, we still have amphibians today." Yes, because those amphibians survived near the water. Who says I can't have a sense of humor about myself? But anyway, I may have miscommunicated that. In fact, I probably did. For you creationists out there, I'm not saying that something wanted something and got it, like somebody building a robot. I'm talking about, for lack of a better analogy, typos that have occurred in the sperm or the egg, or that have already been established in the mother and the father, that have been passed down to their offspring. Now, I know this isn't the perfect analogy, but I figure it's the analogy that I can come up with that young earthers have at least a chance of understanding and not, go off the rails. Now, I'm not going to get into the evolution discussion right now. That is a whole nother ball game. But I do want to show you a clip that shows you evolution in action, especially for the young earthers. I know this is going to blow your mind, young earthers, but this is evolution in action. You asked us to provide you proof of evolution in action. This is it. And this is not just happening off the coast of Indonesia where this is taken, but this is happening elsewhere as well. So get off your fairy tale. This does not mean, let me reiterate, this does not mean that you have to stop believing in God. Quite frankly, I don't care if you believe in God or not, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. But stop believing this lie of young earth creationism. It hurts people, especially you.
Of these reptiles evolved into a variety of creatures, including mammals. Some of these mammals became primates, and then, just 600,000 years ago, an isolated group of these primates evolved into man's earliest ancestors. This is our amazing evolutionary heritage. And evolution continues today as we evolve to our even higher destiny in the universe.
You serious?
No, that's wrong. 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 No, that's wrong.
Is this guy planning on getting anything right? Okay. Let's start off with the definition of evolution. Evolution does not mean something changes into something else. Evolution is small changes gradually occurring over time. Oh my fucking god, where do I even start? I guess it depends on what you call man's earliest ancestors, but it sure as hell was longer than 600,000 years ago. Most anthropologists will agree that the most common ancestor that we can trace our family tree back to is Homo erectus, which emerged 2 million years ago. If you're talking about fully modern humans, then we're talking about 200,000 years ago. So on either account, he is wrong. Now, if you want to go even further back and say that the Australopithecines started the evolution of humans, then you've got to go back even further. You see, this is why science is so exciting. And while it's fun learning about different religions, I like to learn different religions just because it's what I like doing. But I like science a whole lot better. And why, you might ask? Because we're always learning new things. What is there to learn new about religion? Actually, I take that back. There is something new to learn about religion, and it is so goddamn funny. It tickles me pink. The thing to learn about religion is how glaringly wrong the biblical literalists are. It's hilarious. And if you think I'm wrong, all you have to do is watch my channel and consult all the references I give, and you will see how hilariously wrong the biblical literalists are. Now, when it comes to other religions, they may or may not be as wrong as biblical literalists.
A question of origins. How did the universe and all things that we see here on this planet come into being? Why do we exist? Hi, I'm Roger Oakland. Most of us have pondered these questions. And when it comes to the subject of origins, there are basically two views: the evolution theory and the creation theory. During the 20th century, the world was led to believe that evolution brought about all things. Our universe, the Earth, and all life came into existence as a result of an explosion of matter in billions of years of time. However, there are others who believe the observable evidence points towards a creator. So how can we know? What does the observable evidence indicate?
Yes, people, we're about 16 minutes into my video, and we have just gotten to the introduction of his video, which goes to prove just how artfully wrong his video is. And, you might want to get a drink for this one. I know this doesn't have anything to do with this video, but I did ask Orthodox Rabbi Tobias Singer about young earth beliefs, and he said young earth beliefs are the least of Christianity's problems, that we do not know how long the days were. Now, if that doesn't prove just how dishonest these creationists are, that they're not even willing to figure out what Yom means in ancient Hebrew, then I don't know what else does. By the way, the New Testament itself is dishonest. I'm not even going to get into that right now. That's a whole nother story. Plus, learning about science is not easy, and it's just a hell of a lot easier to stay in your ignorance and believe the simplest answer possible than to actually learn about this stuff and learn about why scientists think these things. First of all, evolution is not a 20th century theory, nor did it gain popularity in the 20th century. You nitwit. Why should we believe anything you have to say when you cannot even get your basic facts right? Evolution is a 19th century theory, and it has nothing to do with the origins of the universe. And quit calling the Big Bang an explosion, because it was not an explosion. It was an expansion of a universe. So we see the universe and we take it back as far as it'll go, and eventually it will get down to a little singularity, which isn't even a thing, it's more of a concept. It's just the point where the math breaks down because general relativity has not been unified with quantum theory. I believe that's true. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, please. Okay? Not to mention that we don't know what came before the singularity. Okay? Good. So stop it. And before we get back to the stupidity, I want to bring a moment of hilarity brought to you by Lisa for Truth. This dumbass doesn't even know the difference between numbers and nominal. First is nominal. One is a number, meaning first isn't even a number. You idiot. If I can give some advice to people who want to debunk science, math, and all that, learn how to math, learn how to science, and learn how to English. Please. It is very, very discouraging to know that there are so many stupid people out there. Hey, idiocy has a name. And no, people, that was a joke. Just because your name is Roger Oakland, that does not mean that I think you are an idiot. It just happens to be this idiot's name. Well, how you doing, Roger? What else can I debunk for you? People who watch my shows know the drill. I like knowing who I'm dealing with. And by the way, Roger, thank you very much for not trying to dress up your claims with, I'm a chemist, and having a very ill-fitting lab coat. So I went across the internet looking for this dude, right? And I found him on a few sites because he is an author. Found him on Amazon and Goodreads, and there's a rogeroakland.com, which I'm not even touching. I found him on Creation Wiki. Strange that I can't find these people on real websites, but sites like Creation Wiki, I can find them on, huh? So, against my better judgment, I'm going to lean on Creation Wiki. Yeah, I know, it's pretty weak. But the blurbs that you find on the covers of the books are generally approved by the author. And of course, the author isn't going to, you know, um, approve anything that is disapproving of him or her. So, unfortunately, we have to go with Creation Wiki. So, according to Creation Wiki, Roger is the founder of Understand the Times International, and he used to be a biology teacher and a quote unquote evolutionist. Funny that he never ever gives his qualifications for being a biology teacher. I wonder why that is. I'm not comfortable right now going into the Big Bang or the expansion of the universe, so sometime in the future, I plan on getting Leo Phileas on here, or I plan on educating myself enough that I have enough that I can tell you. However, until then, to satisfy you curious cats out there, I did find some clips of Alan Guth, who is a graduate of MIT, talking about the inflation of the universe, which I am going to insert here. You're welcome. Oh, I forgot to mention that he's a cosmologist and a theoretical physicist, so I would say that his opinion has weight.
Inflation is a prequel to the conventional Big Bang picture. It provides a story that precedes the expansion of the universe, the formation of galaxies, et cetera, et cetera. So the way in which inflation explains the bang is in terms of a very surprising feature of physics, I think very surprising to most of us, which is the fact that gravity can actually sometimes act repulsively.
Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity! Gravity!
But that got changed with the advent of Einstein's theory of gravity, which is the theory called general relativity. According to general relativity, gravity normally acts attractively, but there are circumstances under which it can act repulsively. And furthermore, modern particle physics very strongly indicates that at very high energies we expect there to exist the kind of states of matter that would produce the repulsive form of gravity that general relativity allows. And inflation is basically the proposal that the bang of the Big Bang, the driving force behind the expansion, was this repulsive gravity as allowed by general relativity.
Well, if you stuck with me through this boring ass lecture, congratulations. This is the end, at least for today. And I know I used a lot of GIFs and some other clips, but I mean, come on, this is boring. But you do have to admit, most of it was me talking because he's like a prince of the Gish-Gallop, and he got like everything so wrong. I can't even like tell you how wrong it is. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. If you're already subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube loves to unsubscribe people for some reason. Please leave a thumbs up, that helps the algorithm. Also, please leave a comment down below, as that also helps the algorithm. Well, people, goodbye. Stay tuned, because there's more stupid to come. There's always more stupid out there. So, have a good day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.